Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. A huge gas blast in the Kenyan capital Nairobi has killed at least 3 people and injured nearly 300. A government spokesperson said a lorry carrying gas exploded in Embakasi district at around 11:30 in the evening, igniting a huge ball of fire. Housing, businesses and cars were damaged, with video showing a huge blaze raging close to a block of flats. Earlier, the government had said the blast happened at a gas plant. The cause is still being established. Embakasi Police Chief Wesley Kimeto said a child was among those who died in the explosion, adding that the death toll could rise. The Kenyan Red Cross said it had taken 271 people to hospital and treated 27 others on site. Officials say the US has approved plans for a series of strikes on Iranian targets in Syria and Iraq. The strikes will take place over a number of days, officials said, and weather conditions will likely dictate when they are launched. It comes after a drone attack killed 3 US soldiers in Jordan close to the Syrian border on Sunday. The US blamed an Iranian-backed militia group for that attack. That group, the Islamic Resistance in Iraq, is believed to contain multiple militias that have been armed, funded and trained by Iran's Revolutionary Guards Force. It said that it was responsible for Sunday's strike. US President Joe Biden has approved sanctions on 4 Israeli settlers accused of attacking Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. Mr. Biden signed a broad executive order saying violence in the West Bank had reached intolerable levels. The sanctions block the individuals from accessing all US property, assets, and the American financial system. Violence in the West Bank has spiked since Hamas launched its unprecedented attack on Israel on the 7th of October. A former CIA officer has been sentenced to 40 years in prison for leaking a trove of classified hacking tools to whistleblowing platform WikiLeaks. Joshua Schulte was also found guilty of possessing child abuse images. Prosecutors have accused him of leaking the CIA's Vault 7 tools, which allow intelligence officers to hack smartphones and use them as listening devices. They said the leak is one of the most brazen in US history. Schulte shared some 8,761 documents to WikiLeaks in 2017, amounting to the largest data breach in the history of the CIA. A US mother on trial for failing to stop her son from carrying out a deadly school shooting has sought to put the blame on her husband.
We would talk, we did a lot of things together.
Jennifer Crumbly, taking the stand in her own defense, told jurors that the gun she and her husband purchased for their son was not her responsibility. Mrs. Crumbly is the first parent to go on trial for a mass shooting carried out by a child. Her husband, James, is facing a separate trial on the same charges. If found guilty, they each face up to 15 years in prison. Their son is serving life in prison for killing 4 classmates at Oxford High School in Michigan in 2021. He was 15 years old at the time of the attack. The suspect in an acid attack in South London was convicted of a sexual offence in 2018 and was later granted asylum. Police are looking for Abdul Shakur Azadi, who was last seen in North London on Wednesday evening. A mother and her 3-year-old daughter, hurt by the corrosive substance, could have suffered life-changing injuries in the attack. Police have warned people not to approach Azadi and to instead call 999. The 31-year-old woman and her daughter remain in hospital, along with her older daughter. And climate campaigner Greta Thunberg has defended climate activists facing prosecution in court, saying we must remember who the real enemy is. The 21-year-old was arrested during a demonstration near the Intercontinental Hotel in Mayfair on the 17th of October. Oil executives had been meeting inside for the Energy Intelligence Forum. Ms. Thunberg appeared at Westminster Magistrates Court after previously denying breaching the Public Order Act 1986. She is accused of breaching Section 14 of the Act by blocking the entrance to the hotel. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.